Linda, hello, what do you think? Oh my gosh, Linda's got a controversial suggestion. Linda, what would you like to do?
I'd like to see all the royals that are there now.
Yeah. I thought it says on my screen you'd like to bring Prince Harry back. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I think Harry's the only one that tells the truth.
Right.
All the others, seem to be covering up everything.
And you'd like to bring Prince Harry back and you'd like Harry to be king, you're saying?
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder if you're a standalone person thinking that, Linda.
Probably.
I wonder if the whole country's clamouring for that. I don't think so. How badly do you think the Andrew situation reflects on the rest of the royal family, Linda?
I think really badly, and I think Fergie's even worse, to be honest. You know, when she tried to sell Prince Andrew for £500,000.
Yeah, I remember it well. I bet Kevin probably wrote about it at the time, didn't you?
I remember reading it and thinking, wow, he's not worth that much, pet.
A woman named Linda called into a Channel 5 show hosted by Vanessa Feltz. And within seconds, she managed to do what no royal reporter, no PR expert, and no Buckingham Palace strategist has ever dared to do. She told the unfiltered truth. With one simple line, she flipped the royal narrative on its head. Her exact words: "Prince Harry should be king. He's the only one that tells the truth." Now, that moment right there didn't just shake the studio. It shook the entire foundation of royal PR. Because here was a normal British woman, not a palace insider, not a journalist, but an ordinary person who'd had enough of the royal cover-ups. Linda didn't come with an agenda. She came with honesty. And in a world where royal loyalty often means pretending not to see the obvious, her words cut through like lightning. You could practically feel the silence in that studio as she spoke, as if the truth had just walked in and taken a seat right next to Vanessa. Vanessa, bless her, didn't quite know what to do. You could see that internal panic, that moment where she wanted to laugh, change the subject, or pour herself a cup of tea just to avoid responding. She tried to keep things calm, asking Linda if she really meant it, if she truly thought Prince Harry should be king. And without hesitation, Linda doubled down. Yeah, that's true. He's the only one that tells the truth. All the others seem to be covering up everything. Mic drop. One woman with a phone line just said what millions have been thinking for years. Let's sit with that for a second. Harry's the only one that tells the truth. When you think about it, Linda isn't wrong. From Spare to the Me You Can't See, Prince Harry has been transparent about his pain, his trauma, and the toxic system that nearly destroyed his family. He's talked openly about mental health, racism, and the suffocating media machine that consumed his mother and tried to do the same to his wife, Meghan Sussex. Meanwhile, the rest of the royals keep clinging to their favourite phrase: never complain, never explain. Except, of course, when it comes to defending Prince Andrew. Then, suddenly, there's a full palace PR operation running faster than Charles can wave at a camera. And that's exactly what Linda was calling out: the hypocrisy. When Harry speaks truth, he's labelled a traitor. When Andrew is caught in scandal after scandal, he's protected under the excuse of family matters. It's astonishing how that double standard just keeps flying under the radar. But Linda, sitting in her home, saw straight through it. She wasn't fooled by the press headlines or the shiny palace events. She spoke for the millions who see how the game is played. Protect the image, silence the truth-tellers, and hope the public doesn't notice. Vanessa then tried to steer the conversation away from the truth bomb she just received. She asked Linda how she thought the Andrew situation reflected on the royal family, probably hoping to soften the moment. But Linda, fearless as ever, replied, "Really badly. And Fergie's even worse. Remember when she tried to sell Prince Andrew for £500,000? You could practically hear the oxygen leave the studio. That's not opinion, that's fact. And Vanessa, representing the polished face of establishment television, just sat there, probably praying for a commercial break. The beauty of that moment was its authenticity. Linda wasn't trying to trend. She wasn't reading a script. She just said what the public already knows deep down, that the royal family's carefully crafted image is cracking, and the people they tried to push out, Harry and Meghan, Sussex, have become symbols of truth and independence. For years, the tabloids and palace mouthpieces worked overtime to paint them as villains. But time has a way of revealing who was really lying, and spoiler alert. It's not Harry and Meghan. What makes this moment even more powerful is what it represents. Linda's call wasn't just a one-off opinion. It was the voice of a new generation of royal watchers, people who value integrity over image, compassion over ceremony. She's part of a movement that's done being spoon-fed royal propaganda. These are the people who see the hypocrisy of calling Meghan divisive while ignoring Andrew's history. The people who understand that Harry walking away wasn't rebellion. It was survival. Now imagine, for a moment, a world where Prince Harry actually were king. Picture it. A monarch who talks openly about mental health, who stands up to the tabloids, who admits mistakes, and who understands racial bias because he's lived through the consequences of it. A king who values love over duty and truth over tradition. Can you even imagine the panic that would cause behind palace walls? The grey suits would faint before breakfast, because that version of leadership, one based on empathy and authenticity, terrifies them. It exposes everything they've tried to hide. Harry's honesty isn't weakness, it's his greatest strength. Every time the institution tried to silence him, he got louder. When they stripped his roles, he built new ones. When they mocked his projects, he created global partnerships. When they dismissed his truth, the world listened even more. And that's exactly why Linda's comment hit such a nerve. Because deep down, the establishment knows she's right. The man they exiled might be the only one capable of saving the monarchy's soul, if there's anything left to save. What Linda did on that live show was small in act, but massive in meaning. One ordinary citizen pulled back the curtain and exposed the truth that royal reporters tiptoe around every day. It wasn't a PR expert, it wasn't a scandal. It was just truth, spoken plainly. And that's why the moment went viral. It wasn't sensationalism, it was authenticity. In that one sentence, Harry should be king, Linda turned into a voice for millions, people who are done with the double standards and tired of the performative loyalty. The irony of it all is how quickly people like Vanessa tried to dismiss her. "Oh, maybe you're the only one who thinks that," she said. That's always the establishment's trick. Make you feel alone for having a different opinion. But Linda isn't alone. She's part of a growing crowd that refuses to worship the crown blindly. Because when people start asking hard questions about truth, empathy and fairness, it's not disloyalty. It's progress. So let's give Linda her flowers. She didn't just speak up for Harry, she spoke up for honesty. She reminded everyone that the public still has power. The power to question, to challenge, to demand better. Because the monarchy doesn't exist without the people's consent, and that consent is cracking. You can feel it. Every time Harry and Meghan speak, more people wake up. Every time the palace tries to silence them, the truth echoes louder. And that's the real story here, not just one woman's opinion. If you want to keep supporting real voices that tell the truth without bowing to palace pressure, you can tap that super thanks or support the channel directly. Every bit helps us. History won't remember the palace's silence. It'll remember the courage of those who spoke the truth, just like Linda did.